Monkey King. The reason why I'm such a fan of Monkey King is how reliable this hero is. Sure, he did recently get nerfed, his numbers got changed up a bit, the Aghanim Scepter monkey spawn time went from 3.5 to 4 seconds. However, this hero is as reliable as ever. It farms fast, and it has a dominant laning stage ever since the hero was given good armor. The fact that Monkey King has 6 armor when he used to have 0 at level 1 has revolutionized the hero. You can first pick it, and if you take Boundless Strike and then max Tree Dance, you can just farm and win lane and secure range creeps and dominate offlaners. That's what's so good. And let me really make it clear. Let's say you're against a Nature's Prophet. What should you take, Jingu or Boundless? Boundless. Just secure creeps, right? Secure the range creep. You don't have to overcommit. You won't get harassed. And let's say you're against an Underlord or a Centaur or a Night Stalker. What should you take and what should you max? Jingu. And that's all it really takes to be a good Monkey King player. Well, that's not true. The hero's pretty hard, but you know, that's the basis. If it's a good matchup, you take Jingu and you kick them out of the lane. If it's hard, you take your Q, max your Tree Dance, farm it up, clear the waves, and that's about it. Next up on our list, we have Lycan. And I'm sure this has not come to the surprise of anyone. However, they did just nerf the hero very hard. I don't think it's going to kick Lycan out of the meta, frankly. The fact that they buffed Necromonicon so hard just allows this hero to be viable, regardless of the number changes. Even though Feral Impulse is 8% worse at max now, it is still a very strong spell. And so yeah, I don't have too much to say about Lycan other than the fact that I think this meta, I think it's good to have like a lot of top net worth heroes. I don't think it's easy to end the game quickly, but I also think having like the Giga Carry isn't nearly as good. Now, why is that? Why is the Giga Carry not nearly as good? Well, ever since Satanic lost its status resist, you can't have this like late game god hero that has a Satanic and a Sanjin Yasha and just doesn't get stunned. That's not an option anymore. And so I think that was a really big buff to heroes like Lycan where, you know, he just doesn't want to play against these late game gods. It's not fun for him. And so, yeah, the fact that Beastmaster, Necromonicon, they're all viable, it just enables Lycan. So this hero is still very, very good, especially if the enemy team does not have wave clear. Then we have Wraith King. In high MMR games, Wraith King is not that stellar, but in low MMR games, your 1 to 5k MMR brackets, well, not that 5k is low, but you know what I'm saying. The Wraith King's just good. Good laning stage, just spam skeletons, he farms fast, he runs in, and even though I've said this a million times, tanky heroes frankly do well in low MMR games because they're easy to play. Even if you make a mistake on Wraith King and you're quote-unquote out of position, it actually might be a good thing for the fight, which is why the hero frankly strives in these games. He's also easy to use. Then we have Juggernaut. I'm actually about to release a full course on the new way to play Juggernaut on the Game League website, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. It involves buying Manta, Shard, and using the new Spin build, especially level 20 Spin talent, to enable this hero. It's very fascinating, and I think Jug has so much potential, which is why he's in the Broken tier. Good laning stage. Honestly, the hero really didn't change much. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm just a huge fan of the Shard and the level 20 talent combined. It allows this hero to scale incredibly well. Like, honestly, Jug in the late game would have this problem where if you don't have Omni Slash, you're useless. But now with the Shard and Spin and the talent, I mean, you actually solo kill people, including cores, with Spin. Next up, we have Ricky. Battle Fury into Axe. That's all I have to say. I'm going to make a video on this channel soon about it. It's just good. It farms fast, it's hard to gank, it lanes well. It's very similar to Monkey King in my opinion. It's like a very reliable laner. The hero has good HP regen, high armor, high damage, you know, technically a range creep secure. So it's a very reliable hero right now, and it plays well in this sort of like semi-fast paced meta, right? I feel like the meta is like 20-30 minute games right now. That's the vibe I'm getting. I'll let you know if I think that changes, but Ricky likes these games where like at the 20-30 minute mark, he peaks. You know, when he gets that Battle Fury Ags plus 1 item, I mean, the amount of damage you do is so dumb. Then we have Troll. I won't say too much about Troll. I'll just say he's like Monkey Part 2. Good laning stage, scales well, can play against almost any hero in Dota because he has a range creep secure, high armor. You guys can kind of see the trend with what I think is good this meta. It's not that the scaling heroes do poorly. You can still, I mean, after all, I said, you know, Wraith King, Jug, they all scale well, Troll scales well. It's not that those heroes are out of the meta, I think they're just a little bit harder to play, so make sure you guys understand that. When I give tier lists, it's not like, oh, Monkey King is broken tier, Lycan's broken tier, they're the only playable heroes. It's not true. In fact, like in Herald bracket, Lycan is pretty garbage, so if you're Herald, you might not want to pick him. But just keep that in mind. Next up, let's get into the A tier. First of all, we have Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter, you're saying that hero's not able to carry? I think it is. I think it's very good. And just being able to snowball with like all the strong offlaners right now is so powerful. What do I mean by that? With the current ranked system, and honestly this has been the case for a while, I think Bounty Hunter carry has been viable for a while, but with all of these strength offlaners not being easy to counterpick now, Bounty Hunter carry is better than ever, right? With the pick order in ranked, you can't counterpick the offlaner because you don't know what it's going to be. And so very often offlaners have much better matchups now and a much better time in lane, and so Bounty Hunter can play around that hero, play around the mid laner, and often stomp the game. You kind of just play super high tempo. I think it's viable. Then we have Naga. For some reason, this hero has high win rate. I'm still trying to figure out why. I think the numbers got buffed a little bit, but Naga's good. Same thing with Alk. He's just good right now. He got a lot of number buffs, and honestly, the fact that you can give Ags and like refund people gold is ridiculous late game. Like being able to give an Ember Spirit that already has an Ags Scepter that just refunds him 4,200 gold and gives him the stats now is so dumb. Like in the past, you just straight up couldn't give someone an Ags if they bought it already, and let's say you could, and you gave them the Aghanim Scepter, they wouldn't get the stats. Now they get both. Like, that was such a big buff. I honestly think this hero is underrated. I think if it was easier to lane him, right, let's say we went back to the meta where you could, like, counterpick easier, I think Alk would be, like, super dominant, especially in pubs. But yeah, definitely consider this hero, especially if you think it's an easy mid matchup. Maybe the enemy team picks, like, Invoker mid, and you're like, alright, I'll just Acid and chill. That sounds weird. Acid and chill. But as long as you can do that, I think this hero is better than people are seeing right now, and I personally expected. I honestly was considering putting in Broken Tier. Even though we're not seeing a lot of it, I think it has a lot of potential. I always say that, though. Razor! I don't know. Razor, some people are saying it's horrible. I think it's not horrible. I think it's okay. You can buy a Falcon Blade. It gives you a ton of mana regen. You just run around, clap people in the lane. It's fun. But that's all I know about it. Then we have Bloodseeker. I swear this hero, once again, similar to the last patch when this hero was horrible, or like a couple patches ago, he was horrible. Then he got buffed a couple times and all of a sudden he's broken. I called that. I called it. You guys know, you can go back, watch all the videos. I called the hero would be broken, then he became broken. And I think we're going to see the same thing happen with Bloodseeker again. I think he's going to receive one more buff like next patch or something like that, and just, actually he received the buff even this patch. I don't think it was good enough to make him broken, but I think we're going to see that again, so consider learning Bloodseeker. Then we have Luna. I love Luna IO. Just try that out. Then we have Weaver. He runs around, does a bunch of damage, and I like Falcon Blade on the hero. I know I'm saying that a lot. I think that item has a lot of potential. Then we have the B tier. First of all, starting with B, we gotta have a B hero. That's Bristle. B for Bristle. Very cool. And so Bristle's okay. The one thing I do want to say, and I know this is gonna stir some people's, stir the pot, or make them angry, and that is, I think Eternal Shroud is incredibly overrated. I think it's overrated on Timber, I think it's overrated on Bristle, I think it's overrated. Now that's a hot take, because a lot of people think it's broken, but I just don't think Spell Lifesteal is good in the early game. I think people are spending literally 1,800 gold, which is the difference between Hood and Eternal Shroud, for the active that just gives you mana, right? It basically makes Hood easier to use because it gives you mana, and 20% lifesteal, Spell Lifesteal, for 1,800 gold. What? If there was an item, let's say there was a standalone item that gave you mana if you pop the active, and spell life 20% spell life steal, I don't think people would buy it. Personally, people are though. That's completely off topic. Let's get into the next hero. Spectre, I don't know, he's just decent in pubs, but I don't think he's great. Then we have Clank, same thing, decent in pubs, I don't think he's great, that's why he's B tier. Slark, with the right matchups, honestly in pubs he's very hard to pick because you just accidentally get counterpicked and then you're screwed. Then we have PL. Kind of the same thing. My friend says he thinks he's really good. I don't see it. I think he's just decent. He's alright. Then we have Drow. Same thing, you gotta draft around it. If you're gonna play Drow, you gotta be able to draft around it. And then Ursa. Ursa could be A tier. I put him at the bottom of B, not because I think he's the bottom of B. It's just how it is. I think he could be an A if you get the right matchups, but once again, I think that's the problem with like kind of Ursa and Slark right now, where like Monkey and Troll are better, especially in like ranked pubs, in my opinion, because Ursa can get counterpicked. Like, let's say you're against Viper. I think a Troll will do so much better against the Viper than an Ursa will. And that's like the big difference between the two heroes for me right now. Then for the C tier, let's do it. Not gonna talk too much about these heroes. I just wouldn't really recommend them unless it's some particularly good game. First of all, we have AM. Then we have Morphling. Gotta make sure you have good matchups, much better mid laner. Then we have Terrorblade. I don't think the hero is bad. It's just like hard to use right now. I think you gotta make sure if you're gonna pick this hero, you have like an Ogre in lane, you know, some hero that actually enables it, that protects it. Then we have Gyro, only pick it with IO. Then we have Lifestealer. I don't know. has potential, 48% win rate hero, maybe good. Then we have the D tier, the worst tier, the pro guides tier. And first of all, we have Sven. I don't know, I honestly thought after reading the Sven nerfs, the hero would be like, all right, but I think he's running into the problem where he's not a great laner. He doesn't farm much faster. Now his ultimate is much worse, so he doesn't have like that timing. And like, as I talked about, the mega late game heroes seemingly are worse this patch. Okay? And yeah, he got a ton of nerfs. Also, people don't know how to deal with it right now, like his changes. And then finally, last but not least, we have Phantom Assassin. Is she that bad? I mean, I'd like to believe she's not. I always think like heroes like PA can be okay in pubs because they scale, but she's just so meh in lane. It's just so meh. Like, she's meh in lane. They nerfed Blink Strike attack speed, which made her a much worse laner and farmer. And yeah, that's gonna be about all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.